Hey guys, it's Yejin. So today I want to talk about something that a lot of you guys asked. How did I learn my English? To be honest, I'm really flattered because I know that my English isn't perfect and I still have a lot to learn. But since you guys asked, I thought it'd be nice to share my experience learning English. So let's get started. My first encounter with English was when I was 7 in international age. My whole family had an opportunity to move to China because my dad had a job there, so I got to spend approximately 2 years in China. And in China, I went to international schools, and at that time, I had 0.5% knowledge of, no, not even 0.5. I had like 0.005% knowledge of English. I still remember that I had to take an entrance test to get into that school, and I had to write the alphabets, and I couldn't remember the alphabet G, so I left that space blank. English was that new to me. Now, school at that time was hard. Not because of new environment, but because of bullying. I got bullied by fellow Korean kids just because I was bad at English. There was this one time when, it was a day where parents visited their child in school and they got to experience the class with us. And one girl came up to my mom and said, "How can Yejin not know the word difficult?" Like in a very mocking way. That day I was so mad that the whole situation became a motivation for me to study English really hard. My dad was really good at English, so he helped me learn English by reading a bunch of books. And he also found me this online website called Little Fox. Little Fox is an online library full of English books. You can watch short stories made into videos.
Sometimes the children even played hide and seek in my hair.
Take vocabulary tests, imitate reading voices, and things like that. Oh my god, I was so bad. My handwriting was so bad. My mom also showed me tons of Disney movies and Barbie movies in English subtitles only, so I had no choice but to watch them in English because movies are still fun in whatever language, so why wouldn't I? And so my English gradually improved and I got transferred to a higher class. Now, I would have loved to stay in China longer, but unfortunately I had to come back to Korea. I was 9 back then. Now, I just want to mention that my English was still very imperfect. I was like this.
Hi, I'm Tinkerbell. I'm Peter's best friend, and I have wings, see? And I'm in a story called Peter Pan, and you should read our books because it's so interesting and funny and sometimes scary. It's time to go home. Bye.
예지만 남았네. 예지도 한마디.
Bye bye.
So when I came back to Korea, I kept the habit of reading books and using Little Fox. And I also started watching Disney channels like Hannah Montana, Zack and Cody, Wizard of Waverly Place, those iconic Disney channels. I just watched a ton of Disney channels. When I was in middle school, I started reading every English book in my school. I started reading books like Harry Potter, Narnia, Twilight. Also, that was when I started watching YouTube videos. I was obsessed with YouTube. Back then, my favorite channels were Bethany Moda, Zoella, Tyler Oakley. I think I just watched a bunch of random YouTube videos in English. In high school, I did the same thing. I watched YouTube videos, I read books, and yeah, I think that's basically it. Oh, I also had this one habit that I used to practice my English skills. It might sound weird and it might sound crazy to some people, but it helped me the most. So what I did was, when I'm alone or when I'm walking on the street, when there are times that I could be by myself, I just speak to myself in English. I just mumble or I just talk to myself. So whatever it is, whether it be something I'm feeling that day or whether it be something I learned that day or whatever topic it is, I just talk to myself in English and have a conversation. For example, if I choose climate change, I would just speak about climate change in English to myself and try to make opportunities speaking English as much as I can. Also, when I was in high school, I asked my friends to speak in English with me. I went to an ordinary high school, so my school didn't have anything like English zones. So it was a really ordinary public Korean school. And so I'd ask my friends just, to speak in English with me. And thankfully, I'm really grateful for my friends, but they did. And so I would just talk to them in English and they would talk back in English. And I don't know, that kind of spread. And there were times when I was just in my seat and kids would come to my seat and speak English to me. So my seat was kind of like an English zone, and I think that was really good. Not that I spoke English all the time, but yeah, it was really helpful because I live in Korea. There were no foreign teachers in my school. There were no foreigners around me. So I think that was the only way I could practice English. Making YouTube videos also helped because, I'm just using English. I think it's just about making the environment for yourself. Even though the environment isn't there for you, you can always make things work for you, and you just gotta do what you can do. In a nutshell, I believe reading a lot of English books, watching a lot of YouTube videos, and trying to, speak English as much as you can, even though you're not perfect. You just have to keep practicing, keep using it, and it's a language. This is something I always forget, but you have to remind yourself that English is just a language, and the purpose of language is to, let you communicate freely with another person. And as much as I want to be good at English like a native speaker, I know I'm not, but I still have a goal to become like one. You just don't have to pressure yourself too much to an extent that you don't like that language anymore. So I'm trying to remind myself to enjoy my way on learning English, and I'm happy where I'm going. I'm happy with myself. So yeah, I guess this is basically it, my history of learning English. Thanks for watching. I hope this video was somewhat informative, and I'll see you soon in the next video.